Okay. Alright, today we're going to be doing a video on what it is like to be around, what it's like for somebody else to be around me who has borderline personality disorder. Most of the times I can kind of explain myself and explain my feelings, but I can't see myself from somebody else's perspective. So I've got my friend Shane here, and he is going to be answering some questions about what it's like to know somebody with borderline personality disorder. First off, how long have you known me, Shane?
About 4 or 5 years, I think. Sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah, about 4 years. And what was your first impression of me?
Well, that's a hard one to answer because I, heard a lot of rumors about you before I met you the first time. So, when I first met you, you were quiet and kind of standoffish.
Well, first, what's the rumors you heard about me before you met me?
That you were crazy and mean and those basically.
So did you have like preconceived notions of
possibly?
Who I was?
Yeah, just because everything I heard about you was like a nightmare story about how terrible you were as a person.
Yeah,
so.
and it was coming from people who had known me years ago, like before I got in touch with my spirituality and all these things, and
it was also coming from somebody that I'd known for a while, so I kind of trusted their opinion at that time.
Yeah.
Even though
and it was okay. So how we know each other is, my sister is his ex-girlfriend, and we hang out. Our kids get along, so
yep.
I'm here at his house for a little bit, and so he's known me through her lens, basically. So,
yeah.
And what were some of the things that she used to tell? Like, was there any specifics? Or?
She'd say that you stole from her a lot. You were unstable. Like 1 second you'd be happy, and then the next second you'd be crazy, basically, like psycho.
And she was always telling him that I was like basically having sex with everybody.
Yeah, she totally had.
But from another person who can't understand borderline personality disorder, or doesn't take the time to even look into it, it does come off. I can come off as crazy. But what was your first reaction to hearing about me having borderline personality disorder?
Initially I didn't really know. Like, I've gotten to know you more over the last probably month and a half.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know what to think about it. Like, I didn't know a lot about it, so I didn't know what to expect. And like the first time you disassociated, it was kind of a surprise, and it's hard to not take it personally when you don't. So you think, oh, this person's irritated with me, they're angry with me. And then so like after that, I tried to go do a little research about it myself to try to learn.
Right.
And I kind of learned it's not personal. It's just you're in your own headspace, and you can't deal with anybody else's.
Yeah. So like when I am feeling overwhelmed, in the past I would have outbursts, like rageful outbursts. It was either going into a fit of rage, or I would just run away and not come back for weeks. And those were unhealthy coping mechanisms. And so as I'm getting older, I'm trying to teach myself healthier coping mechanisms, such as, I don't know if this is too healthy, but I'm just at the start of these things of trying to understand myself, which, having this whole YouTube channel has helped with. But like, how did it make you feel?
Like the first time
when I disassociated around you. How could you tell I was disassociated first?
Well, honestly, like your whole face changes. Like you become distant. Like you're staring through me almost. Like you don't see me. You're staring through me, and you don't answer questions or engage in conversation. Everything's like one word answers when you do answer, and sometimes you don't even answer. Like you'll just.
So it's kind of like I go into like this catatonic.
Almost catatonic, yeah, and like. At first I didn't understand, so I thought it was something I was doing. So I, hey, what's wrong? Did I say something to make you angry? And that would like push you farther into it. Like,
yeah.
Now I've kind of learned to, when you do that, to kind of just give you space, and you always come out of it. But then, yeah, it was hard because, it's human nature to think it's something you're doing.
Oh yeah, of course. And even and as much as people with borderline personality disorder try to explain themselves to people, it does come off shocking and harsh. The disassociation, uh, I really can't. Um, the reason why I can't give feedback, or I do like these catatonic states, as I guess you could call it. In the past, I would burst out with I'd just be angry. Now I'm trying to go within and figure out why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling and if it's rational. Because I do admit that I do get caught away and caught up with irrational thoughts, and that can affect, like, my moods are so strong and heavy that I feel like I affect the people around me, um, which is why I now am turning inwards. And the worst thing you can do for anybody with any type of mental illness is, um, A, say, why can't you just get over it? B, uh, giving them steps to take like we haven't already tried, or
just trying to fix them in general. It's like,
yeah, like just trying to figure out,
or telling them they're crazy, because
telling them they're crazy is, it's like, for me personally, when I start to feel chaos within, it starts to show itself as anger. It can show itself as anger, irritability, snappiness. But like, if you don't engage with me in that, like if you could just, kind of let it go, you can acknowledge it, but you can let it go.
I think luckily for me, between, I'm an adaptive person. I'm a super emotional person too. So at first it really did like affect me and make me feel bad.
Right.
But like, I'm the type of person who wants to learn about somebody. Like when you told me what's going on with you mentally, like I wanted to know. So I did my own research, and like I feel like I learned pretty quick how to like pull away and like give you your space to where I didn't exasperate.
Right.
Because it's really easy to do. Like, and I have done it. Like I've pushed her to the point where she, snaps a little bit at me.
Okay. How did it make you feel to see my anger for the first time? Because like, we've been hanging out for the past like month. Anytime I come up here, I hang out with him, and like, for somebody who, it takes people a while to get close to me before I let myself even get jokey or sarcastic like I normally am. Sometimes I'll just be surface level with a lot of people, and you'll never see my anger if I'm only surface level with you, or if I don't feel any type of emotion. If I don't feel like if I don't mind people seeing my anger, if I don't care about how they feel, basically. I know it sounds harsh, but like, if it's somebody that you don't have an emotional investment or emotional like if you're not like connected in some way through family, emotions, friendships, kids,
humor is a big connection for us. We laugh a lot, so yeah. I mean, this week was the first time I really saw it, and
like, be honest, like, what were your initial reactions? Because even though I did warn you about my anger,
well, I was warned, so I was semi-prepared, but yeah, it was shocking to see, like, and it was like instant, and
it's a flip.
It was a flip from like, trying to pull away to like, you went from defensive to offensive like instantly, and it was like really strong, really aggressive, and it was like, whoa, like, and I think I instantly realized what had happened, and I kind of like, whoa, okay, all right, I'll back away, sorry. Because like I said, even though I've read about the way, the disorder that she has, and I've read about how to deal with it, I'm human, like, I'm not always gonna be able to.
Well, and another thing, you can't read up on a disorder and say, okay, that's that person.
No, especially, that's one thing.
Because each person with a mental disorder, sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, you're fine.
Everyone with a mental disorder is
different, yeah.
They have such novelties about themselves.
I read that too, like, not every person's the same. Some people do this, some people do that, and it's like, so I've just tried to, like, kind of, take the moments as they come and try to react and figure out what to do. Then, I mean, yeah, it was shocking. was shocking. I wouldn't
Was
say
it shocking because it was such a flip to my normal personality?
Yeah, like you hadn't showed that. That was the first time you showed that side of yourself to me.
Right. So describe me how I am normally.
I mean, you know, when she's not disassociating, I mean, she's really funny. She's really like compassionate. She'll do anything for anybody. I mean, that's the way she is, and like she's really just really kind. You know, it's really.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and like when she disassociates, I have to tell myself it's not you. Like, you know, still I have to do that because like it's just coldness, and it's not her cold towards me, it's her cold towards the world. And I had to realize that's nothing to do with me or anyone around her. It's just something that she, you know, developed as a defense mechanism at some point in her life, and just, you know.
Well, and people with borderline, we all have our different coping mechanisms to stress, to the chaos we feel, to the abandonment issues, to the instability in our sense of self. Like, I'm very confident in who I am, but I have very, very bad body dysmorphia, self-esteem issues, which brings out the jealousy parts in me. And so I think you can't just like blanket term.
No, you can't. And you know,
these types of things. I
totally learned to try to get an idea of what, but I learned once like I was around her again more when she came back the second time. Like, you can't. There's no plan or outline to what it is. It's all different. And it's like from day to day, the way she acts is different. It's like she'll disassociate a different way every time. You know, it's like you want to learn patterns. Like as a human, you know, as a person, like that's my instinct is to learn people's patterns and figure out how to be around people. You know, but with her, like you said, it's chaos sometimes, and you just have to be. I'd say patience is the biggest thing. Like you always come out of it, and you're always
patience and understanding that the anger and irritability thrown your way if you're dealing with somebody with BPD, it's not because of you.
It feels like it's directed at you because you're the one that's there, but it's not. Like you have to.
What it really is what me and have been talking about is. There's only a specific role in my life that can trigger these behaviors, which is the role of a significant other or a close male. Those are the only people in my life that can trigger like jealousy within me. And it's not because of anything that this person has done, but it's because of old wounds that I thought I have healed from. Obviously not. So, okay. Yeah. And then last question, could you feel me pulling away, and what did it feel like for you?
Yeah.
Or was it sudden?
Sometimes it was sudden. I mean, like I said, there's no set pattern. Like, you know, the first time I remember it happening was the first time you were here, and you know everything was fine, and we were going for a walk, and like
where?
It was the one on Flat Top where I really felt it really hard the first time, where we were with Andrew. And,
oh yeah.
And like she's always laughing at my stupid jokes. Like that's dad jokes all day, and she thinks they're hilarious. And like even my jokes seemed to like annoy her, and it wasn't annoyance. I see that now, but at the time it was like, geez, what did I do? You know?
Yeah.
And then she just kind of went off on her own while we were doing our thing up there. You know, I was with her nephew and her son. And we were just kind of having fun on a mountain here in Anchorage, and like I was trying to figure out what I'd done to like anger her or make her like pull away from me like that as a friend, and you know it took me a while to realize that it's not me. And then there's other times where I can gradually feel it, like you know it's like you're still trying to engage, but it's like lessening with each time. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, it's hard to not take it personally, but I mean I feel like I've gotten better at it. I'm not perfect at it, but it's people with BPD, I'll tell you, they're not easy to be friends with or be in a relationship with, but you know it's like,
I mean, because that's one of the hallmark traits of BPD is instability in interpersonal relationships. That's one of the biggest ones, is not having good relationships with people who love you and who you love, because we have this underlying fear of abandonment. We have very, very poor self-image, which makes you more unsure of yourself, which makes you then more unsure of a situation, and then you tend to act out of however it displays itself.
And my advice, like with her, I've learned, I don't know if this works for every person with BPD, like don't try to reassure with like actions and words, just your presence and like being there and not, you know, like letting them be in their space. That's how I try to reassure her when she's
Yeah,
there.
but also you got to be careful with that, with like your body language, with what you're saying, your facial expressions, because people with BPD, they pick up, and we pick it up on it more than what you're saying, because we're so used to people coming into our lives and saying, oh wow, I love you just as you are, but then as soon as the real ugly shows itself, not that we want it to, and we're hoping it never does, but once it does, and it's inevitable, then most people are like, whoa, you
and
know.
that's where the learning to not take it personally, to realize, like even if it's shocking when it first hits you, it's not you. Like that's what you have to realize. It's not you. It's a hard thing to realize, but it's true, you know.
But
I mean, sometimes I guess it can be you,
yeah,
to a certain extent. But I don't know. I'll say that, you know, with her, like when she's not disassociating, she's such an amazing, awesome person to be around that you know, if you can just wait through those moments, and sometimes they can take hours or days, but it's like worth it when you get through it, because the other side is like, it's like the calm after the storm, you know.
So my advice for anybody who's dealing with BPD is to get some talk therapy. Yeah, medicine works, but you know, I don't really advocate medicine. I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. But find somebody more than just a therapist. You know, go, if the first therapist you find doesn't work, keep finding them until you find one who's you're comfortable with, to really express how you feel, and learn to accept these parts of yourself, because then you can start to change them.
And be patient and understanding.
And is that your advice for
just
someone dealing with it?
Yeah, just be patient, be understanding, and like try to remember that even if it is you in that moment, like it's not really you. Like it's something that they're dealing with on their personal level, and when they get through it, like she always realizes what happened, and she's always like, I'm sorry, like I didn't mean that, or you know, sometimes not, you know, sometimes it's something I did, and you know, like we can talk through it, but it's just don't take it personally. That's my advice, and be patient.
Well, that's good advice. Well, thank you for coming on my channel. I really appreciate it. Well, guys, I'll see you next one.